negatively impacts our snowfall. So that's why we're introducing Easy Green. Just like the Green Run, we believe sustainable practices should be easy. These are our 5 easy actions, small steps with big kids. For more, go to usgreen.org/easygreen. With Placid Legacy Site. The winter sports capital of the world. Home to 2 Olympic Games, countless homegrown Olympians, full world-class legends in the field routine.
Yeah, what's really going on is we've got the 10th competition categories in the leading U.S. Army license program. They specialize in alpine, cold weather, and hard terrain operations. They're based nearby at Fort Drum, and they've been able to come up with this incredible partnership with the U.S. Army working athletes, where they're pushing each other, sharing lessons from the battlefield as well as the competition arena, and contributing to each other's success. Resilience is really built through adversity, training cycles, overcoming injuries and setbacks, and from both my experience as an athlete, able to train alongside and learn from the soldiers. Some of our athletes have been lucky enough to join the world-class athlete program and become active duty soldiers. They're supported by the military during the teacher and then contribute back to the armed forces after their competitive athletic career is over. So this is a really unique partnership that is honestly fairly new to me, but I think it's new to the team, and it's something I'm really excited to watch unfold over the upcoming years. So I think there's so much to be learned between these two elite programs. So I've personally attended some training camps with warfare, readiness, special forces, where we've been basically learning how they evade drones in the wintertime, using the heat sensing technology, even seeing us. So really, it's a very unique partnership, and I think the history of the 10th Mountain Division, especially here in the Northeast, is really special, and it's really taking off, especially in the Alpine disciplines in the 10th Mountain Division. Whenever your training are and you come back, really
Mika, for my last race of the season, how does that feel?
It feels a bit exciting. I didn't have the best seasons of all, so it's a bit like, yeah, the drama is ending here now, and we couldn't have chosen a better place to do it. I'm excited for the race. It's a great track and it's a great crowd, so yeah, I'm stoked.
Tell us a little bit about the atmosphere here in Lake Placid.
It's insane. I was yesterday, Jimmy and I, we had like this live podcast that we did here, and we both agreed like this is like, he's living in France, but he's from GB and I'm Austrian. We said we're not gonna get a home World Cup soon. This is the closest that we'll get to a home World Cup because we felt so welcomed.
How was that?
It's like, yeah, goosebumps, just goosebumps.
And for the race today, what is your plan?
I mean, I hope to feel better than I did previously, but I'll just try to stick to the top for as long as possible, and maybe my moment to shine will happen in the race. So we'll see, but I'll just give it all out there, and I hope to enjoy it.
Good luck.
Thank you. Right.
Enjoy. Federico Pellegrino, your last race is today. You won yesterday. How has the night been?
Quite with big satisfaction, and today I'm here. I want to enjoy last race. This public here in Lake Placid deserve my start today, and I want to feel these great feelings that all along the weekend we had the opportunity to live thanks to this crowd.
A big question, but how will you sum up your career?
Will be hard. I will have to take time to get it, and first of all, now I need to spend a big and good time with family because they missed me and I missed them. So first of all, and then in the end of the spring, I will have the time to sum up everything.
And one last race, and you can also go top 3 in the overall. How is that feeling?
Great as well, because was not a goal for the last season, and to be competitive from the beginning until the end in such different formats, and even by winning last sprint of career, and it's something that was not expected, but that let me be really proud of. But even, or maybe not proud enough, to be Probably second as a man team in the overall ranking, and this is something that I worked for since the last at least 4 years, and the goal was to increase the medium level of the team, to try to reach medals in the Olympic Games. We got the medals. We can see with numbers the medium level increased, so I think the legacy of Kiko Pelle now, it is.
Congratulations with an amazing career and good luck for the last race.
Thank you.
One of the greats of the sport we love, Federico Pellegrino. Chico Pell, we're going to miss him. His final race set to go in a minute. Good morning, ski fans. Welcome to the final day of the final weekend on the 45th edition of the FIS Cross-Country World Cup, presented by Coop. Pushing for the finish line in Lake Placid, New York, USA. The World Cup train has reached the 12th and final city on the circuit, and on tap is race number 29, a tactical grind for 20 kilometers, skating through the heart of the Adirondack Mountains. I'm Andrew Castning on the call to cover the world's best skiers for FIS TV. Here's a look at the course. 4-kilometer lap. It's going to be 5 laps to reach the 20K mark. It's going to be exciting. It's a mass start. Everybody going out at once, with the rankings and the bib numbers decided by the overall World Cup points, which you see here now. Johannes Klæbo going out in bib 1 ahead of Harald Osberg Amundsen in bib 2. All but one crystal globe has been decided, and that is the men's distance globe. Briefly after the Holmenkollen 50K, we'll get a word from Xavier McKeever on the course.
Can you take us through the course here?
Yeah, pretty crazy. We're here at the last race. Season's flown by, so like the season flying by. I think it's going to be a fast one today. The conditions are seemingly pretty firm. We got a little bit of rain, but yeah, snow seems pretty fast. Interesting course here. We got a lot of tight turns, a lot of places to maybe get bunched up, so it's going to be important to ski smart, stay out of trouble. We start with some distance, so there's and then we start like the main climb. It kind of snakes up to the top of the course. I think there'll be a lot of one skate and then offset once we get towards the top of the course. Then we have a nice 180 corner. Again, another place to kind of watch out for and try and be smart. And then we have some fast downhills, which will be really fun, I think, today. Moving towards this section back into the sprint course. More tight corners, it's going to be a lot of fun. The sprint climb yesterday was packed with people, and it's one of the widest parts in the course, so I think there'll be a lot of passing there and a lot of action. And so after that, we come ripping back in the stadium. Like I said before, very fast. It's going to be tight. It's going to be fun racing. I think it'll be a really exciting finish today, and hopefully the crowd will be as good as the last few days because they've been amazing.
Thank you so much, Xavier, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Nice course description there from Foothills Club skier Xavier McKeever out of Canmore, Alberta, Canada. So we see our heroes now walking in there in bib 12. Gus Schumacher had a killer season, locked down a silver medal in the team sprint at the Olympics. Everybody talking about how great this crowd is this weekend here in Lake Placid. Over 9,000 tickets sold every single day. They've had to brave dumping snow. Yesterday's weather was nice, a little bit of patchy sun, clouds, overcast, and now they get to brave the rain coming down. But no matter, everybody here to see the best skiers in the world, traveling near and far, from as far away as Alaska to the northeastern states of New England. They have come to see their heroes show their mastery of the sport that we love. Here's a look at the start order. Norway going out with the top 5 bib numbers. It's going to be interesting to watch how this race unfolds for the points. There'll be a couple bonus point time checks. First one coming at 9 kilometers. Second one coming at 17K. The closest man to unseat Klæbo from winning all 3 globe categories would have to be Harald Osberg Amundsen, who was briefly in front of the Crystal Globe standings in distance after the Holmenkollen 50K, mainly because Johannes Klæbo was coming back from his concussion injury he suffered during the Drammen City Sprints. And that opened the door for Amundsen to take over the lead briefly. Klæbo came back and true to form, won the first race here in Lake Placid, the 10-kilometer classic to begin the weekend. That put him back in front. But the race remains tight, and we are set to watch how it unfolds here in Lake Placid, Mount Van Hovenberg. Here is your top 10 athletes in the distance standings from France, Hugo Lapalou. Krostyalev not making the trip across the pond from the neutral athlete from Russia. Federico Pellegrino looking to be his final race here as he's set to retire. Emil Iversen there in 7th, had a great opening 10K classic in 6th, part of a top 6 Norwegian sweep in men's distance, something we've grown accustomed to. Steinshagen, Ray, Nyenge, Amundsen, and of course Klæbo, all on the start list today. The Crystal Globe remains the final piece to close out the puzzle of the 2025-2026 season. And there's the man to do it, looking more relaxed and free than we've seen him in many, many months, with the big races on the season behind him. He even flew over, reportedly, on an airplane without a mask on. We saw him last night on the Skieriest Problems live podcast. Great to see some of these best athletes able to relax a little bit, ski true to their best form. And that's what we saw from that man there yesterday, Federico Pellegrino, with a massive mic drop. So pumped for that guy to go out with a sprint victory. Yesterday's freestyle sprint was one to behold. Chico Pell crushed the final climb, leaving the competition behind and skiing away with the win. So fun to watch. There's our U.S. skier and hero, Gus Schumacher, sitting in bib 12. And there is the host of the Skiers Problems, or one of them, alongside Ben Ogden, who was a co-host, guest co-host last night. Make sure you tune back in. Had some great guest appearances. Our athletes are lined up, waiting for the gun now. Final instructions from the start order will be underway for the last men's race of the season. The gun goes, and 86 athletes are underway here in Lake Placid. Hammering from the start, it's Norwegian red at the front. Norwegian men so dominant in men's distance skiing. Who can unseat that legendary ski team from the top 5? We shall see. Perhaps it could be an American skier, Gus Schumacher, Ben Ogden. Other ones at the top, Elliot Barb from Italy, Federico Pellegrino, Hugo Lapalou, R.C. Ruskinen in the top 10 for distance. And with this many starters on the course, it's going to be busy, as we heard from the Canadian skier Xavier McKeever. A lot of turns, a lot of twisty parts to this course. It is going to be ripe for tangles and crashes. There is the man at the front who had 12 wins in a row prior to his Drammen crash, coming over the top of Ben Ogden, whip cracking his head down to the icy streets of Drammen. Gave him a pretty wicked concussion. The whole ski world collectively holding its breath, wondering if we just witnessed serious injury to the great one, the Sultan of skating, the Colossus of classic. Johannes Klæbo missed the Holmenkollen 50K. From watching from his hospital bed, although he noted that he couldn't see too much screens, wasn't allowed to play his PlayStation or look at his phone too much. Best sitting in the darkness, collecting his thoughts and preparing for Lake Placid. Really happy he was able to make a return and make the trip across the Atlantic Ocean to Lake Placid, New York. And just as he always does, came back to win the first opening race here on the weekend. Sat out yesterday with the sprint globe already locked up, and he has the overall globe locked up. He in turn turned his focus to the distance race here, the final one of the season. Great look at these crowds here. Umbrellas, plastic ponchos in hand. Willing to brave whatever elements are thrown at them to see these guys ski their very best. Lake Placid is a great village nestled in the Adirondack Mountains, upstate New York. It's very different than New York City. It's not easy to get to. Sitting west of Lake Champlain, west of the New England states of Vermont and New Hampshire. Not far from Canada. The mountains are tall, upwards of 1,000 to 2,000 meters. A lot of sugar mapling happening, thick forests that reach all the way to the top of the mountains. Great place for winter sport. A lot of hockey played, outdoor speed skating. Obviously the site of the 1980 and 1932 Olympics. One all Americans remember for the Miracle on Ice win in the hockey game over Russia. Huge upset that set the U.S. hockey world ablaze and abuzz. Mika Vermeulen now charging there at the front. Mentioned in his opening interview that he hasn't had the season he wanted, but he's just going to go out and see how it feels today. Looks like he's feeling pretty good so far in the early going. Pushing the tempo. He's got an incredibly high VO2 max. He's already trying to split this field apart as he makes his way to the high point of the course. Not a bad idea to do that, particularly if you got a twisty turny downhill. Much easier to ski the downhills clean when you don't have a bunch of other athletes surrounding you. Looks over his shoulder to see what kind of damage he's done. A little bit of a string out in single file at the front, and the hairpin turn at the top of the course. There's the look, first look at the time check, 1.6K. Likely see a few more bursts of speed, particularly heading into the bonus points, which are going to be so critical if Harold Amundsen or Nyenge are going to attempt to unseat and take that crystal globe distance from Johannes Klæbo. Bonus points coming at 9K and at 17K, so we will be looking for those. It'll be just after the second lap. Again, it's 4-kilometer loop, 5 laps to meet the finish line. Great overhead shot here. Gives you a good idea of all the fans. Time and again, these athletes just marveling at the crowd. It was very narrow in the 10-kilometer classic. The fencing not throughout the entire course, and that gave a very Tour de France-like feel to that event. The athletes weaving through a very narrow band of raging and screaming ski fans, climbing up the climbs. There's the 2 blue Italian suits there. Get our first look at how the skis are gliding. As looks like Klæbo gliding right on up past Mika Vermeulen. Looks over his shoulder. One of the things that makes him so great is his perfect balance, particularly on the downhills. He has the ability to shift his balance point, his center of gravity, flex all the energy out of the skis. It's like free movement, squeezing energy out of the tails of the skis. That's how he is able to time and again glide past athletes in descents, making it look so easy. He has mastered the minutia of the sport as well as the bigger picture. And that is why he has a World Cup win percentage north of 58%, which is just mind-boggling. That almost 60% of the time he enters a World Cup race, he wins it. With this rain, it's going to be fast snow, and you can see it here. Athletes hanging on to a razor-thin margin there on this descent. Impressively, so far at least, they're all skiing that downhill corner clean. There is Martin Nyenge on the right. Johannes Klæbo, of course, in the gold bib. Mika Vermeulen hanging in there in second. Bib 8, that is Federico Pellegrino from Aosta, Italy. One of the legends to retire this season. What a way to do it with Olympics in your home country. And Mike dropping yesterday with a sprint victory, his final sprint of his career. Can't think of a better way to end a great career than a win. upwards of 30 kilometers an hour, sweeping through this corner. They've hit the 4K mark. That was a fast lap, folks. My goodness. It took the Harald Amundsen under 8 minutes to go 4K. So we are ripping fast. Klæbo, Pellegrino, Emil Iversen, Nienge, Vermeulen, Mattis Steinshagen, Elliot Barp, Victor Lovera, Matty Deloge from France. That's your top 10. Of course, everybody very tight right now. Here's some of our Americans. Bib 65 and Bib 70. That will be in Bib 70 is Ben Dolby, making his World Cup debut this weekend, 21 years of age. And Zachary Jane, originally from Ventura, California, got his ski legs under him in Bend, Oregon. That looks like Johnny Hagenbuch with some issues. Not sure what happened there. Hagenbuch out of Ketchum, Idaho. Awesome to have a World Cup on U.S. snow. That gives the Canadians and the U.S. team a few more start spots. Allow some of their up-and-comers to cut their teeth on the World Cup circuit. Many of them making their World Cup debuts this weekend. There's some drinks offered here. Looks like Elliot Barp's going to take one. 20 kilometers is about the shortest distance you'd see an athlete take a feed during the race. Going to do it, best to do it early and often. Very colorful group here we have. That was the Japanese skier Bib 38, Naoto Baba from Nagano, Japan. On a flash of Bib 60, Hunter Wonders out of Anchorage, Alaska, and the APU Nordic Ski Club. Hagenbuch must have suffered a fall at 4K. He was a full minute 36 back. Unfortunate to see that. Don't expect him to finish in last place, but that's where he is at the moment. To the front goes Amundsen. No bonus points on this lap. That will come on the next lap, right at this point here.
In order to win this race and win the overall globe. So he's probably just testing the waters a little bit right
Bib
now.
27 there on the left. That is the French skier Victor Lovera. Victor was the first non-Norwegian in the Holmenkollen 50K freestyle last weekend. He was 9th place. Norway taking the top 8.
I'm guessing that is his
With the win going to Einar Hedegaard.
The legs of his competitors. And we can see from our drone footage out
Had
there, our
two
aerial
DNSs.
footage, that there are people lining.
Did not start Vili Ahonen from Finland and Nick Saulitis from Latvia. Otherwise, 84 starters ripping around this course.
I've got the Rich family here from
See the moisture on the video screen. There's a full NOAA winter weather advisory. Could be getting quarter to half inch of rain throughout the day. It is messy. Roads are going to be icy. Heard some horror stories from the shuttle rides, getting the spectators and the athletes to the venue on the first day. It sounds like they cleaned it up much more well run yesterday and today. Looks like all the fans have made it to the start, finding their way out on the course to cheer these guys on. You can see Gus Schumacher there on the left, leading the side train. Right in the hunt here. French making their way in that first group. Matty Deloge in Bib 16. Deloge out of Villard de Lans, France. Had an unbelievable Olympics. 3 silver medals in the skiathlon, the 10-kilometer freestyle. And France got the silver in the relay. There you can see now just how tight it is. Hairpin corner at the top of the hill. look at the Adirondack countryside. Granite mountains, quite ancient mountains, weathered down over many thousands of years. Gus right in the hunt at the front. See the German skier there. Things starting to string out just a little bit over the top of that hill. You can see how fast it is as they carry so much speed from the downhill into this uphill. Blasting away. I think I could see bib 25, Antoine Cyr from Canada in this front group. Still impressive how fast they skied that first lap. Under 8 minutes for 4 kilometers. Absolutely flying here in Lake Placid. Doesn't look like they are slowing down one bit. When it is this fast, it is much harder to get separation, particularly when you have this many men in the field, able to use the draft. Energy conservation, so key in this part of the race. One of the things Johannes Glabo is so good at. Mattis Steinshagen hits the time check first. Norway, 1, 2, 3, 4. Lapalou and Lovera from France. Schumacher hanging in top 10. There is Einar Hedegaard. We have to keep an eye on him. A killer skater. Winner of the Ingeden Ski Marathon. Followed that up with a win in the Holmenkollen. Put that on a resume. You're an instant ski legend, particularly if you come from Norway. Hedegaard got a gold medal in the team sprint, teaming up with Johannes Glabo. A lot of him expected to unseat Glabo in the 10-kilometer freestyle. It was Glabo's weakest event going into the Olympics. And if it weren't for a almost near total meltdown from Hedegaard on the final climb in Milano Cortina, he probably would have unseated Glabo. Glabo skied it so smart, as he does, keeping his head on his shoulders, paced himself well in the early going, kept himself in striking distance, kept him on his pursuit of 6 gold medals.
I should maybe make a move here. So this is a dynamic 4D chest bench.
Hedegaard originally from the biathlon side of cross-country skiing. And it'll be interesting to see if he does any more biathlon races. He's had one incredible season here on the World Cup. He did make a debut in the World Cup last year. Got a podium in Oslo. Really haven't seen him do any classic races, so he's going to have to figure out that part of the game if he wants to be a true cross-country skier. 8 kilometers down now. Glabo the first to hit the second lap. And within 1 kilometer now, we're going to have some bonus points. This will go a long ways to seeing anyone can unseat Glabo. Right now, he's at the front. Inge, Iversen, Steinshagen, they're the ones within striking distance. Ray and Amundsen. Amundsen's got to find at least a second there, get to the front. Glabo's so good in sprinting. It will be difficult to pass him in a short sprint. 15 bonus points on the line for the first person to get to 9 kilometers. Bib 42, Norwegian skier Evan Solheim Mikkelsen. A bit more of a sprinter so far for Mikkelsen. 15th place in the Oberhof freestyle sprint. That was his best result this season. He's had a 7th place at the Norwegian National Championships in sprinting. Glabo's still in the front now. A lot of Norwegian red up there. Schumacher in the overall standings, sitting sixth, which is extremely impressive if you're a US ski fan to have a man skier up that high throughout the season, grinding it out. Had a fantastic Gomes World Cup, getting a couple podiums there for the Olympics. Hard to think back to the last time any US man would have been in the top 6 of the world at the end of the season. Ski hats off to him. He skied a great year with many more to come. He's still on the up and up. All right, we are now starting to catch our breath, I think, in the field here before the sprint to the points prime. Goes powering into this uphill. Skating so much about carrying your momentum, maintaining high average of speed, carrying speed from one course feature to the next, using the different techniques. Here we go, V2 sprint. Klabo's going to be the first to get it. Nobody willing to challenge the king. And there next to the Le Gruyere cheese arch, you see the pace slow down again as Klabo gains an additional 15 points. Amundsen with 12, Nyenge and 10. Schumacher grabs an extra 2 points. And we have an entrance into the chat from the Austrian skier, Benji Moser. Quick look at Elliot Barp in the blue suit, skiing by there. So the Japanese skier, Baba Noto, hanging on to this front group. There is 30 skiers within 16 seconds here, and then a small break to Xander McMullen in the chase group. Xander sitting 32nd. He's got 6 seconds to catch Baba Noto from Japan. Here's the look at the front group. 14 there, Andrew Musgrave. They needed more legendary status. Had trouble getting to that venue, to this venue on day one of the 10K Classic. Ended up catching a late bus, scrapping kick wax in favor of skate skis and double pulling the entire 10K up these hills. Still managed to top, I think it was 12th, double pulling, which included a goofy looking stride through the technique zone. They added technique zones in an effort to keep classical striding in the sport, because everyone was getting so strong, and with the stiffer carbon fiber pulls were able to double pull pretty much any hill that was thrown at them. So FIS and the technical delegates, the jury, decided to throw technique zones at them in order to force striding. Muzzy still coming up with a workaround. There's the end of that chase group. I don't see Xander McMullen at the front. Looked like a Finnish skier. That would be Nico Antala, Olivia LeVay from Canada right behind, and then it's Xander McMullen. McMullen now 36 seconds back. Olivia LeVay 33 seconds back. Xavier McKeever sitting in 28th. He's in that front group, 20 seconds back. Antoine Cyr, top Canadian right now, 15 seconds back, sitting 21st position. Gus Schumacher moving up to 7th. Pace remains high. This is some fast skiing here. Conditions are quick. A stumble from Lapaloo, but he recovers. Blue suits of Italy ripping around this corner. Got to use all your energy to get to the top of the hill, and then make sure your legs have the ability to balance, hold you up on these ripping descents. Looks like the turns are banked pretty well. Not easy to do, especially as this race wears on. Big effort from Benji Moser there in the dark red and black suit. Austrian skier. Got his first World Cup podium this season. There he is, bib 23. Schumacher hanging in the top 10 ninth. Look at Joe Davies out of Pemberton, British Columbia, skiing for the Great Brits. Right in there as well. And our Hedegaard, fading a little bit perhaps, back in 11th. Now we see the full fracture of the group. And that is Johan Ekberg from Mora, Sweden there, kind of getting chucked off the back of this front group. The pace remains high. There is no stopping the Norwegians at the front. Perhaps a move there on the left from this overhead shot. Machine-like they are in their skiing. Mash the poles in and repeat. And that is bib 4, Andreas Fjordenrey from Oslo, Norway. 2 World Cup podiums to his name. Just missed a podium in the Holmenkollen 50K. Came in 4th. Excellent 10-kilometer freestyle skier. Going to go double the distance here in Lake Placid. It's been a long season for these athletes. Mentally running on fumes. No doubt still in good shape. Looking forward to the off season though. We are over halfway now. 8 kilometers to go. Andreas Fjordenrey hits the 12K mark first. Time of 24:51. Look at Benji Moser there in 6th. Schumacher in the hunt in 7th. Pellegrino right there too in 8th. The group has begun to string out. Antoine Cyr there in 20th. Top 20 for him. Now you see the chase groups fracturing. Hit 12K now. And 2 laps to go. Labo more than happy to let the pace get pushed from the front. There's Einar Hedegaard in red on the right. Shot through the trees, the deciduous forests of New England. And some of these trails out here, not the race trails, you can ski under maple syrup sap lines. Great maple syrup country. Harvesting the trees, boiling down the delicious nature's nectar. Give you a little bit of natural sugar on your journey through the deciduous forests of the upper Northeast. No relenting of the pace here at the front. Amundsen taking a turn there. Ray at his side and Clabo just behind. Look at Matty Desloge there, French skier, fighting to stay on. Dropping his shoulders a little bit, showing some fatigue. About 10 people there on that very front group, and a little gap to the chase pack. Still about energy conservation. We got to come up this hill one more time. Stay on their feet through the downs. What do you have left for the sprint to the finish? Good look at Gus Schumacher there, bib 12. Right in train, Einar Hedegaard in bib 15 coming up the side. Again, keep an eye on him. He will be a threat come the finish line. One of the lower ranked skiers in bib 15. Making his move to the front of the group now. Ronald Amundsen continue to hold the pace at the lead. There'll be an additional set of bonus points at this position next lap. Be the final bonus points awarded of this World Cup season. Schumacher mashing the poles. Requires a lot of ankle flex. Pushing to the side, keeping the skis moving, particularly when it's this fast. You put a lot of power into the legs when it's icy like this. It's a full body sport. Poles assisting on a firm day. When it's soft and loose, you go a little more power into the poles, a little lighter and quicker on the feet. But that's not today. Today is icy and firm. It's all about power skating. Norway, 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 Norway. Common theme this season in distance racing. They go to the top of the climb. Under the Le Gruyere Switzerland Cheese Arch, one of the big sponsors for the Coop Cross-Country World Cup. Every podium finisher throughout the season getting a huge wedge of cheese to share with their wax techs, the unsung heroes of this sport. It hasn't been a long season just for the athletes. Certainly put the wax techs and coaching staff in that category as well. Everybody looking for the last bit of energy reserves as they reach the high point of the course here. Norway occupying all top 6 positions. Here is the chase group dropping off a little bit, led by 2 Italians, Barp and Davide Graz, Pellegrino in there as well. See now, mid-pack, looking tired. Did their best efforts to hang with the front group. No easy mission. Difficult to see through the forest here what is happening, but moves are being made. Norway continuing to string out the group. Benji Moser hanging in. This is Davide Graz and Andrew Musgrave. Musgrave, born in Anchorage, Alaska, moved to Norway at a young age, dual citizen. Does much of his training in Trondheim. Standing up, Labo collecting his breath. They know the race is narrowing down, the field getting thinner. Who will take the podium step? High probability they're going to be in a red suit. Do a time check at 14.7. Amundsen will get there first, 31:34. Incredible pace. They're going to break 45 minutes in a 20K. This has got to be world record skiing for 20 kilometers. No matter whatever hill you throw at them, they are flying. Gus Schumacher there in 13th. Joe Davies right behind him. Davies has a national collegiate title to his name. Schumacher did not go through the NCAA circuit, stayed with the club programs, first with Alaska Winter Stars, under the tutelage of Jan Buran, for joining the Alaska Pacific University's Nordic Ski Club, the elite team there, coached by Eric Flora. They've got a great team right now, particularly on the men. JC Schoonmaker, Schumacher, Xander McMullen, Hunter Wonders, Luke Jager, all a part of that club. As the group continues to fracture a little more. Amundsen at the front. Possibly difficult, it seems, to shake Johannes Klæbo off your tails. If you are the leader, he is happy to hang in behind. 40, over 40 kilometers an hour, ripping back into the stadium. Keep an eye on this turn. This will be the decisive move here in the lap to come. Got one more trip through the lap lane, one more time up the mountainside. Bit of an uphill finish, that will play a factor. Finishing stretch, rather short. We saw that yesterday in the sprint. Andrew Musgrave, no doubt, smelling the beer at the finish line at this point. And it's Lapalou and Elliot Bart Pellegrino. Here comes chase group number 3. Schumacher, Davies in that. Interesting if they can catch Muzzy, this chase group. Lapalou looks over his shoulder, asking for help on the chase pursuit. Back to the front now. We're down to a group of 8. Rain only increasing throughout the day. Here's a look at the chase group. Muzzy just about 10 seconds back. Then it's another 20 to chase group 1. Kilometers ticking lower and lower to the finish. Last chance for beverages. Last call. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. 8 through, on their way up the mountain. Final lap here in Lake Placid, the men's 20-kilometer freestyle. A lot of Norwegian suits there in the front. Story that we've seen all season long. It was great to see some Swedish men do much better than they had been yesterday and in the day before. None of them here make a mistake for the top 10. Otherwise, it's a story of Norwegian dominance in men's cross-country skiing. It's Andreas Fjorden Reed taking a turn at the front. Klæbo hanging in third, just behind Amundsen. And Steinshagen there, bib 5. See Klæbo taking a different lane. Here's the final bonus points. Klæbo looking to get all 15. And I think with this bonus point, if he gets it, Amundsen given a charge though. But it's going to be Klæbo tight here on the line for 15 bonus points. Looks like Klæbo takes it, and I think with that we may have just given the Crystal Globe to all 3 categories to Johannes Klæbo. What a season he's had. Continues to be a marvel at the front. Musgrave looking labored. D2ing up the mountain, and the group draws nigh. Musgrave hanging in 9th, 2 bonus points for him. Hugo Lapalou leading this chase group. Schumacher fading to the back of it. Pace unrelenting. Incredible times we're seeing here in Lake Placid, so fast.
They're going to do whatever they can.
Mind-boggling. They're going to be finishing 20 kilometers.
That's sort of every little mini task,
just
right
over
now.
40 minutes
Not every man for himself
to go that far. Usually seeing times upper 40s, 50s in the 20K. An uptick in tempo from Andreas Fjorden-Ray. He's never won a World Cup, 2 World Cup podiums. Ray from the Nordic city of Oslo. Klæbo from the slightly smaller city of Trondheim, Norway. Home to last year's World Championships, where he took all 6 gold medals there in front of the home crowd, making him 12 for 12 in the last 12 major championship races. Next year, he gets to continue that streak in front of the Swedish crowd. Scandinavian rivals, Falun to be host of next year's 2027 World Championships. Musgrave can't get to the high point soon enough. Valiant effort from the British skier. And this chase group get to his ski tips and tails. Only one non-Norwegian suit now in this group, and that is Davide Graz from Pieve di Cadore, Italy. He's got over 100 World Cup starts, but not a podium. He'll have to find his way through a sea of Vikings to get there. Otherwise, it's Norway in the top 5. Just over 2K now to the finish. Approaching the 40-minute mark. Athletes standing up, collectively catching their breath. It's a long descent, winding corners back to the stadium.
Every single athlete on this course, give yourself a
Staying on their feet. You can see the corners starting to push up piles.
So great to see
That rain having an effect on the snowpack.
Great job, and here we go.
And no Muzzy.
Last time
There was a couple skiers there, looked like Benji Mosier. Not sure who the Norwegian skier was there. Klæbo now to the front, getting himself in position. Ever the brilliant tactician, knows exactly when to take the lead. Oh, and a little stumble there from Einar Hedegaard, but he regains balance. Best sprinters in this group for sure are Klæbo, Amundsen, and Hedegaard. Going to be one incredible upset if Davide Graz can somehow get around him. He has a bronze medal from the Olympics in the relay. 10th in the Drammen City Sprint. That was classic a couple Wednesdays ago. Continues to yo-yo off the back, so he's going to have to find some sort of extra gear to get to the front. Klæbo driving the train now. You can see an uptick in tempo here. Klæbo into the hop skate. Here he goes. Watch the move now. The rest of his Norwegian countrymen doing their best to hang on, but it's the fumes of Klæbo that continued to just blow in the faces of the rest of this cross-country field. He looks over his shoulder. He was not able to shake Amundsen, but a gap grows to 3rd. Klæbo with the decisive move up the long climb, and it's a descent to the finish. One more sweeping right-hand turn, and into the line they go. The crowd goes wild for these heroes. Klæbo showing once again his greatness in the sport of cross-country skiing. There'll be a slingshot and a slipstream for Amundsen. Can he use it? Klæbo ups the tempo once again. Hedegaard in 3rd. Who's got it to the line? Klæbo with the lead in the prime real estate. Down the finishing stretch with 50 meters to go. Klæbo increasing his lead. Taking the win here in Lake Placid. 2 for 2 on the weekend. Amundsen in 2nd. Hedegaard 3rd. Norway sweeping the top 4. Andreas Fjordenrud in 5th with a photo finish to Davide Graz. Klæbo leaning on his poles, the season done and dusted. He's won here again in Lake Placid. And we have Emil Iversen and Benji Moser pushing for 7th and 8th. We'll keep our eyes on the finish line as the congratulatory hugs and pats go around the Norwegian Ski Federation. Dominant once again, men's distance skiing. Muzzy able to hold off. Oh, and a face plant. I think that was Joe Davies, perhaps tripped up by the French skier. Great race there from Moak. That is not Frederick Moak. That is Jakob Elias Moak, the younger brother of Frederick Moak. Top 10 World Cup personal best. Joe Davies frustrated. Nobody wants to take a closer look at the snowpack when you're within 50 meters of the finish. Gus Schumacher, solid race in the beginning, fades a little bit. We'll have to see a replay. Perhaps he has a case for the jury. Schumacher finishing 20th. Teo Shelley, Naoto Baba, good race for the Japanese skier at 23rd. This looks like Antoine Cyr, top Canadian, 24th. Another sprint with a Canadian, and perhaps Yuri Tuz from Czechia. That is Xavier McKeever against Michael Novak from Czechia. Xavier McKeever, bronze medalist from the World Junior Championship 20-kilometer freestyle. It's another level here at the World Cup. He'll have many more opportunities, I hope, in a 20-kilometer freestyle. Johannes Glabo won all 3 Crystal Globe categories this season: the overall, the distance, and the sprint. Pure dominance in the sport of cross-country skiing. Winter Wonders into 35th, solid race for him, particularly in skate. JC Schoonmaker, top 40. Schoonmaker able to crack the top 30 in the sprint standings with his performance yesterday. Ben Dolby, again making his World Cup debut this weekend, crossing in 44th. Nico Antila, Leo Johansson. Absolute shattered men now crossing the line, chasing down the Norwegian stallions, who just continue unrelentingly driving the pace at the front. And then Solon Mikkelsen way back in 48th. Gustav Berglund from Sweden crossing in 51st. Ben Ogden threw in 52nd, just ahead of Max Holman. Mika Vermeulen, early leader, fades all the way back to 54th. Chance for Chico Pellegrino, uncorking the champagne. He has an infectious smile. They've rolled out the red carpet for Papa Pellegrino. Grazie for a wonderful career. We are going to miss you deeply. Certainly a fan favorite. Cheers to you. Salud and grazie. I look back now. They had a great overhead shot of the final moves. Came down to 3, all Norwegian. Glabo generally waiting until the second or the very last climbs to make his move. He did so on the straightaway climb that was used in the sprint yesterday. Get himself in the front. Hedegaard seems pleased with 3rd. Amundsen in 2nd. Continually playing second fiddle to that man there, Johannes Glabo. Amundsen, that will be his 32nd individual World Cup podium. And as we mentioned, Hedegaard still under 10 World Cup starts. He has 3 individual wins. That will be his 7th World Cup podium. Fun to hear reports of Glabo palling about Lake Placid, keeping it up with fans. We're going to get a look now behind Musgrave. Keep an eye on Joe Davies. Kind of looked like he planted his left pole between the tails of his skis. Lapaloo able to react and get around him, so I think that is purely his fault. Don't know that there'll be much for a jury to decide. Another crash there. That is Bib 30, Jules Chapaz. Purely a factor of how fast this snow was. Johannes Klabo's time, 41 minutes, 57 seconds for 20 kilometers. Ridiculous. Under 42 minutes. That'll be one of the fastest 20Ks we've ever seen. There's your top three on the day. Men's 20-kilometer mass start freestyle wrapping up, drawing the curtain on this season. For Klabo, an incredibly impressive, hard to put into words, number of wins, 113 individual World Cup wins. Only Marit Bjorgen has more in the overall World Cup win category. He is by far and away the most for any male skier, and he should be able to catch Marit Bjorgen's number. I believe it's around 120, don't know it off the top of my head, but he should be able to get to that mark next season. He is a 5-time winner of the overall World Cup, now make it 6. He won in 2019 for the first time, then again in 2022, 2023, 2025.
Canada.
He has won the Tour de Ski 5 times, including this year. The first one coming in 2020. Excuse me, in 2020 he was 3rd, and then after that he won in 2019, 2022, 23, 25, and this year. Many retirements we'll see. The man there with the crown, Gabriel Gledhill, the self-described king of Trondheim, getting crowned there, showing some emotion. He's retiring at the end of this year. Andrew Musgrave, not sure his plans. He's got 5 Olympics under his belt on his resume, dating back to the Vancouver Games. Fans now have a little bit of a break here for the final race of the season. It'll be the women's 20-kilometer mass start freestyle, and the last dance for their hero and our hero, Jessie Diggins. There's a whole vibe there with Gabriel Gledhill, self-described king of Trondheim. You can find him on Instagram under that name, KOT. Spent much of his Holmenkollen 50K palling with the fans, taking beer feeds from the crowd. It was a race where we saw the women starting 45 minutes after the men, and he was caught by that women's field. And probably one of the greatest moments of his career was getting to ski alongside Frida Karlsson for a few minutes of a World Cup. Crossing the line there, Latvian skier Lens.
Congratulations for finishing with World Cup before.
And there's a look at your top 10. Jakob Elias-Moak, killer race for him. I think he's been on the NCAA circuit this year in the U.S. Andrew Musgrave in 9th, Benji Moser in 8th. Emil Iversen then in 7th, David Graz, the first non-Norwegian, in 6th. Andreas Fjordenried takes 5th, Mattis Steinshagen 4th, and then your podium, Einar Hedegaard, Harald Osberg Amundsen, and of course your winner, Johannes Hasflet Klabo. Top French skier, Victor Lovera in 11th. Pellegrino closes out his career with a 13th place here, just ahead of Elia Barp. Frederick Moak, the elder brother of Jakob Elias-Moak, in 15th. Joe Davies with that faceplant takes 16th. Martin Nyenge was a DNS at the beginning of the weekend, may not be his best healthy self, was 17th. Matty Deloge, 3-time silver medalist, in 18th. Gus Schumacher, the top American, in 20th. Top Canadian, Antoine Tony Boy Sear, 24th, just ahead of Xavier McKeever. Eric Rustjo from Sweden, 27th. Johan Ekberg, 29th. Olivier Levay from Canada, just outside the top 30 and 31st. Jimmy Clugnay, great British skier, 32nd. We'll look back at the 20-kilometer freestyle. Fast and furious, icy, twisty, turny, tactical. Best to grind the pace, unable to shake the rest of the field.
Right now.
A few random players there, including that one, French skier Victor Lovera. Bravo, getting an extra 30 points on the bonus. Between the win and those bonus points, no doubt put a stamp of affirmation on Crystal Globe and distance. Surging to the front when it matters most. Up the final climb and into the front. Johannes Glabo takes the win. Now we can start to see the rain pouring down. A sad snowman there. Snow person.
Well,
Here's our
winner
leader,
of
winner today.
Winner of the distance globe, overall globe, and the sprint globe. How do you feel right now?
Oh, it's. I'm glad the season is over now. It's time to rest a little bit, and but it was a perfect place to finish up the season and to be able to crown it with a victory, and also the distance globe. It's amazing, and even though the weather is not the best today, it was really amazing out there.
Is it possible to get a better season than this?
I think that's going to be hard. So I will. This I'm gonna really put up at the wall and just look at when I get old.
Congratulations so much, Johannes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, very nearly a perfect season for that man. The great one. The Colossus of Classic, the Sultan of Skate. A champion nearly every time he enters the race. Johannes Glabo, the greatest skier of all time.
4 world-class venues for recreation and training.
We'll have a podium ceremony in the Crystal Globe handing. It's the final distance, so we'll have the distance globe handed out as well as the overall. Stick around for that.
At Lake Placid Legacy sites.
There it is, commanding 453-point lead over fellow Norwegian Harald Osberg Amundsen. Federico Pellegrino in his final season, 3rd best on the season. Ahead of Mattis Steinshagen, Lars Hagen, Andreas Fjordenree. Gus Schumacher drops to 7th, still incredible. 7th for an American man. Tip of the ski hat to you, my man. That was great. Ben Ogden in 17th. Rostiolev was top 10 coming into the weekend, but not here in Lake Placid. Drops back to 15th. There is your distance standing. So by a slim 25 points, Johannes takes the distance cup. That was the tightest race on the men's side. It was very tight in the women's sprint globe that was decided yesterday. Handing the globe to Maja Dahlqvist of Sweden. Norway in the top 5 though, and that tells the story of the dominance of Norwegian men in distance skiing. Nations Cup, buoyed by that strong men's team. Norway atop Sweden. USA in 4th, typical position, 4th or 5th. Germany back in 6th, not always their best. Italy had a great season. They were prepared and training for the Olympic Games in their home country. Sweden 2nd, lifted by the women's team. Finland in 3rd. You can hear the rain pattering down. There's going to be a couple centimeters of rain that falls on this race course today. Saturating. It's going to be interesting what it does to the track for the women. It's going to be sloppy. I already saw berms forming on the downhill corners as the athletes push off in the turning technique. They form that berm. You can use it to your advantage. Where it gets scraped down, you often find ice, but you can ride the berm around the corner, slingshot your way with high exit speed out of those turning features. Luckily, that Gruyere cheese is wrapped in protective plastic, waiting the podium ceremony. The ilovenewyork.com local sponsor, Mount Van Hovenberg, the venue, Stiefel U.S. ski team on hand. Le Gruyere, your cheese sponsor, and the title sponsor for this season's World Cup, Coop, which is a Scandinavian grocery store chain.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. The award ceremony for the men's 20K NASCAR will be coming right up.
Here we go now for the top 6 honoring today's men's 20-kilometer mass start freestyle.
20K freestyle.
Hand it over to the field announcer for the award ceremony.
Fifth place representing Norway, Andreas Fjordenreid.
Continually in the top 5, rarely on the podium.
Fourth place from Norway, Matti Stenshagen.
Quite possibly the best season of Mattis Steinhagen's career.
Third place from Norway, Einar Hedegaard.
7th World Cup podium for Einar Hedegaard.
Second place from Norway, Harold Olsen.
32nd individual World Cup podium for Amundsen.
First place in winter men's 20K freestyle, representing Norway, Johan Hoskott.
113 individual World Cup wins. Incredible feat. Got 122 now total wins, including relays, sprint, team sprints. 151 podiums.
New York State Olympic Regional Development Authority, accompanied by Rick Preston, Town Supervisor, Town of North Elba, and Steve Strandberg, U.S. Skiing Snowboard Trustee.
Hedegaard is only 24 years old. Labo approaching his 30th birthday. Amundsen a little bit younger, 27. There's the maple syrup in action. No doubt bottled here among the mountainsides of the Adirondacks. Killer race for the Italian there, shaking up the top 6.
The Lake Placid 2026 FIS Cross-Country winner.
There it is, your top 3 from the final race of the 2026 World Cup season. It was a great one. Seeing a few retirements, but none on those 3. We will see them for years to come, I have a feeling. The greatest skiers Norway has ever produced. And a long line of legendary athletes. So happy you could join me on your Sunday morning or afternoon or wherever you are out there in the world for FIS TV. I'm Andrew Kastning. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you out on the trails, and you ski classy, Lake Placid. on air here to present the Crystal Globes. We'll have the distance Crystal Globe as well as the overall Crystal Globe presented to that man there, Johannes Klabo. That yellow bib nearly the entire season.
Fans and guests,
Bienge
the medal ceremony
for a little
begins
bit there
overall
in
World Cup
Ruka, winning the first race of the season.
Please welcome the winners.
Shortly thereafter, Johannes Klabo took it over and never let it go.
In third place, representing Italy, Federico Pellegrino.
What a wonderful career Federico Pellegrino has had. Incredible Italian icon.
Second place, representing Norway, Harold
And his career with 23 World Cup wins, 63 World Cup podiums.
In first place, an overall World Cup champion, representing Norway, Johannes Klabo. Will be presented by Thomas Vosberg, 1980 Olympic champion.
Glimpse of a Swedish legend skier, Thomas Vosberg, raced here in the 1980 Olympics, edging Juha Mieto by 100th of a second in an interval start. It was from that race forward that they dropped the 100th from interval start timing down to a 10th of a second. Feeling that it was impossible to time it that accurately and decide gold medal versus silver at that slim of a margin.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please stand for the national anthem of Norway. the Lake Placid 2026 FIS Cross-Country Men's Overall World Cup winners.
Squabble's going to have to find overhead bin space in the airplane on the way back for 3 crystal globes. Sprint, distance, and the overall. That one there, the overall, biggest of 3. Hopefully you can find some bubble wrap somewhere in Lake Placid.
Fans and guests, the ceremony will be coming right up for the Distance World Cup champion.
Andreas, ta bra sida. Så går du först. Are you ready? You can start. Går du först.
Ja, Jens känner ingenting riktigt.
Kan du signera det här?
Now for the presentation of the distance globe, denoted by the red bibs.
Fans and guests, the medal ceremony for the Men's Distance World Cup champion. Please welcome our winners. Third place, representing Norway, Andreas Gordon Ray.
Gordon Ray, as I mentioned, regular in the top 5. Not too many podiums, but grinding it out, distance after distance, in 3rd on the season.
In first place, winner of the Distance World Cup, representing Norway, Johannes Hofsbrook Bravo.
Now, 6-time winner of the World Cup overall.
By Thomas Osberg, 1980 Olympic champion.
Amundsen had a handful of podiums this season. 2nd in the Holmenkollen 50K last weekend. He was 4th to open the weekend here in Lake Placid. Got a 2nd place in the Alpine Skiing. Best Olympic finishes was a 4th in the 10-kilometer freestyle. That doesn't count towards any World Cup points. He also got a 6th in the Olympic skiathlon. 2nd position in the 10-kilometer freestyle in the Davos World Cup. Won a Ruka 20-kilometer freestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please stand by for the Norwegian National Anthem.
Another playing of the Norwegian National Anthem. three are certainly feeling good. Season coming to a close here. Final men's race now in the books. As Clabo once again at the top. Honored with the Crystal Globes here in Lake Placid, Mount Van Hovenberg. Quite the sight to behold for the U.S. fans. Best skier in the world coming across to race on these trails. For the Coop Cross-Country World Cup and FIS TV, be sure to tune back in for the women's 20-kilometer freestyle set to go in just under an hour. I'm Andrew Kastning, pleased to be with you on your Sunday. Refill those coffee cups. We'll see you back in a little bit. See you out on the trails. And you ski classy, Lake Placid.
Coming right up will be the men's U23 ceremony. Please stick with us.
Let's go, guys!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the most successful athlete in the men's U23 overall World Cup. Representing Norway, Lars Heggen.
Det gjorde at jeg kjørte ytteren på neste. Og så kjørte jeg helt inn her de to siste. Jeg følte det var for gammelt. Nei, ikke skjønt.
Ladies and gentlemen, next award ceremony will be the FIS Team Cup for the men's overall World Cup.
Kjørte bra igjen. Jeg merket det på turen ned, for da var jeg sliten.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the most successful men's team of the World Cup, representing Norway. Totally dominating on this men's World Cup circuit. It's great to see the servicemen and the coaches up there as well, representing the entire dynamic of this intense sport. And the prize will be awarded by Chris Cheney Seymour. Let's celebrate for Norway. We have a strong team dominant all season long. Heia Norge. Looks like we have Johannes Bravo up again with Amundsen and their tight battle for the second place in the distance World Cup overall. Lars Heggen, the U23 champion. Great group of athletes representing Norway here in Lake Placid today. athletes, we come to the rear